Welcome back to Royal Club Stories. It was exactly 4:32 a.m. when the distant roar of an engine broke the stillness of the Qatari sky. The air was still thick with a light morning mist, and the deep rumble of an approaching aircraft gradually reverberated through the air. At the northern side of Al Udeid Air Base, ground crew members were conducting their routine inspections. But then, something unusual happened. They all paused, turning their attention to the southwest. There, in the distance, a dark silhouette was steadily growing larger, its outline becoming clearer with each passing second. The sound grew louder, and within moments, the aircraft revealed itself as C-5M Super Galaxy, one of the largest cargo planes in the U.S. Air Force's fleet. As it drew nearer, the sheer size of the plane became undeniable, its wings stretching nearly the length of 2 football fields, cut through the sky with precision. For massive turbofan engines produced a constant low hum vibrating through the air, further emphasizing the scale of the aircraft. This wasn't just any aircraft. It was an immense logistical powerhouse machine designed to carry heavy loads across vast distances. The landing, as the C-5M Super Galaxy approached, the ground crew's anticipation grew. The plane gradually began its descent, and within moments, the main landing gear touched the tarmac. The nose gear followed, and with a light thud, the aircraft's body settled into place. The landing was incredibly smooth, almost as if the 100-5 was touching down with the utmost care. The wings of the plane flexed slightly under the weight, which seemed to magnify the power of the C-5. The engines reversed their thrust, brakes deployed, and the massive aircraft decelerated quickly. Within 18 seconds, the plane came to a complete stop. It was an impressive sight. And just as the plane halted, the airfield's automated CCTV cameras immediately started recording every detail, capturing what was about to unfold. Unloading begins ground. Crew began moving quickly, signaling for the final parking procedures to be completed.
Okay, this side's clear.
Airfield vehicles with flashing lights directed the C-5 into its designated spot on the apron. As the massive nose of the aircraft slowly began to rise, the front hatch opened, revealing the cargo bay. At the same time, the rear ramp also lowered, offering dual access for unloading. The yellow light from the interior spilled out onto the tarmac, illuminating the scene. Soldiers in full military uniforms, wearing reflective vests, immediately began organizing the unloading process. It was like watching a military dance rift, and highly coordinated. Large pallets of equipment began to emerge from the belly of the beast, with crates labeled USA FQTR2 for rolling out. These containers were filled with essential supplies, each one carefully tagged with barcodes and priority levels indicating the importance of the equipment inside. Among the first to be offloaded were 2 6-wheel, light armored vehicles, covered in sensor wraps to protect sensitive equipment and logistical supplies as the unloading continued. Several crates marked sensitive equipment were offloaded. This wasn't just a standard supply mission, this was something much more significant. A mobile generator unit was carefully wheeled down the ramp, followed by foldable tactical command tents. These tents, designed for rapid deployment, would serve as mobile command centers for soldiers on the ground. And as the unloading continued, 2 small containers holding light reconnaissance drones, Raven type, were lowered carefully from the left side of the aircraft. It was a delicate operation, but it was all executed with military precision, ensuring that no part of the equipment would be damaged in the process. Communication systems and satellite equipment, one of the more fascinating aspects of the unloading process, was the careful lowering of satellite-based tactical communication systems. These cylindrical units were essential to maintaining secure communication during operations. They were lowered slowly using the aircraft's internal hydraulic crane, a process that took around 11 minutes. Once on the ground, Sagan officers immediately began conducting tests to ensure the systems were fully functional. There was no time wasted. Every piece of equipment had its place. Everything had to be ready for use. Emergency power units and medical supplies at 5:19 a.m. The next batch of supplies began to roll out. Emergency power units. These heavy-duty generators, equipped with cooling systems, were essential for keeping operations running smoothly in the field. Massive generators were offloaded, arranged symmetrically on the tarmac to ensure optimal placement for their use. Then came a surprise. A large container was opened, revealing a large-scale field medical setup. Inside were foldable beds, medical supplies, and portable ventilators. Everything required to set up a functioning field hospital in the event of an emergency. The size and scope of the medical equipment confirmed that this mission wasn't just about logistics, it was about preparing for extended operations. Additional supplies as the sun continued to rise. More cargo continued to be offloaded, including crates of inert munitions. These crates were moved to secure storage, and while there were no live weapons visible, their presence hinted at the logistical support needed for soldiers already stationed in the region. Inspections and maintenance. Once the cargo was unloaded, a team of technicians entered the front section of the aircraft to conduct routine inspections. This process lasted approximately 23 minutes and included checks on the cabin pressurization and cargo flooring. After a long-range flight with a heavy payload, these checks were standard procedure to ensure everything was in optimal condition. For the next mission wrap-up, by the time the sun had fully risen, the full silhouette of the C-5 Galaxy was visible, standing still, but still commanding attention on the tarmac. The airfield remained quiet, except for the sound of moving crew and equipment. The rear ramp was slowly raised, and the nose of the aircraft was gently lowered, bringing the aircraft to a close for the day. In just 1 hour and 7 minutes, the entire unloading process was completed, swift, tidy, and completely silent. Every movement, every action had a purpose.
Almost got it.
It was a well-drilled operation,
clear.
executed without a hitch. Conclusion: while no major media outlets covered the event and no fighter jets escorted the plane, there was no doubt about the significance of the C-5 Galaxy's arrival in Qatar. Sheer size of the cargo and the nature of the supplies indicated that this was no ordinary logistical mission. It was part of a much larger operational plan, one that would provide sustained support for soldiers and equipment in the region. As aviation analysts later noted, this was one of the fastest ground unloading operations of a C-5 in the Gulf region. In the past 2 years, aircraft had descended from 32,000 feet with an incredibly stable rate of descent, indicating that senior pilots, highly experienced in heavy logistics missions, were at the controls. But perhaps the most intriguing part of this operation was the silence that surrounded it. No sirens, no major media coverage, no fighter jet escorts. Just a quiet landing, a smooth unloading process, and the logistics that would lay the groundwork for future strategic operations on the ground. Closing, and there you have it. An inside look at the incredible scale of operations behind the C-5 Galaxy. If you'd like to see more behind-the-scenes reports like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more detailed updates from Royal Club Stories. We'll continue to bring you closer to the action, showcasing the silent power that makes these operations possible. See you in the next report.